Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is how PPD, Sonneiko, and Jarex fight with Winter Wyvern. This first clip shows a clear difference of higher level players. Look at how the creep wave is pushing against Dire. If someone suggested that they go on Slardar, the two usual answers would be no, because there are too many creeps, or yeah, let's go and just YOLO and Slardar, drawing a bunch of aggro. When PPD goes on him, check how he does it. He turns Arctic Burn, and by walking towards the tree area, he can attack Slardar without drawing aggro. As it ends, check how he stays away from Slardar to not get caught in a stun with Luna, and they secure the kill. Since he didn't draw aggro, he is literally full HP. People don't often look at Winter Wyvern and think, oh, this is a good ganking hero. The thing though is that Winter Wyvern is pretty good at it. Splinter Blast slows for 4 seconds and has huge range, and with Arctic Burn you slow an extra 20% with also a decent range at level 1. If you're against heroes that don't have escapes, then you have a fair chance of securing a kill if you gank the mid lane. He smokes, and the important part about ganking with him is using the big range of Splinter Blast to slow the mid hero and set up an opportunity for you to reach him with Arctic Burn later when the smoke breaks, and they secure a fairly easy kill on Naga. People often think of Winter Wyvern as a defensive support, but to be honest, I like to think of her as a somewhat middle ground between Dazzle and Oracle. She doesn't offer as much DPS as an Oracle, but you can deal a lot of damage from a good distance thanks to the range of all of her skills, so seriously, don't play her maxing the heal or stuff like that, unless you're against some crazy physical damage threat, and even then, the only thing that changes when you level Cold Embrace is the percentage heal. Anyways, let's go back to the game. They are going on Naga again, and the first good thing about this gank is that he can go through the river and still have the range to cast Splinter Blast and notice it, because it's nighttime. Not only that, but he lands a pretty good one, clipping Bane and Naga. Another thing to point out is how he doesn't keep attacking the Naga. Not only she is dead, but applying the Arctic Burn buff is very important because it slows for a decent amount of time and deals damage based on your HP percentage. Not only that, he also foresees that the skill is about to end, so he goes up the cliff, giving vision and blocking Bane to allow Spirit Breaker to get another cooldown of Charge of Darkness.
You must be dreaming. So far from my roost.
Remember that gank PPD attempted in the start of the nighttime? There was no Radiant Vision there for sure, so since it's still nighttime he attempts to invade their jungle. Playing different based on whether it's day or night is something a lot of people struggle or don't even think about. This movement he's making would be completely telegraphed and dumb if it was daytime. As he plants the ward, it's 100% clear that Radiant doesn't have vision there. Just a quick parenthesis, most supports know that placing aggressive wards is important, but a lot of times they either spend one smoke to do so, which is not bad but could be better, or they go at daytime to very far locations like this one, expecting not to die or to plant the ward without the enemy noticing it. Nighttime is the perfect time to do this kind of moves, and in the end he also gets information about where Radiant doesn't have wards, and also goes for a kill. Check how he plays it. He starts with Arctic Burn and attacking from a very safe place. In my opinion, waiting for the Radiant creep wave would be a better idea, but he probably didn't want it to wait daytime to come, so they just go on him, and since Naga was greedy and didn't get a point in ult, they secure the kill. In this footage, PPD uses smoke while Spirit Breaker charges, but they cancel it and get Cold Feet, since there's no one showing anywhere. Storm is dead, so do they really want to fight 4 vs 5? PPD decides that he wants to. When using Winter's Curse, a lot of people like to pay attention to enemy heroes' placement, but you shouldn't forget that creeps also attack. Against heroes with escapes, a good combo you can do is throw Splinter Blast just a little bit before the duration of Winter's Curse ends. This means that he will still be in the radius to jump from the creep to who you want to kill, but it will deal damage. You can't throw it too early. It was close, but Slark manages to Shadow Dance. A good thing to note is how he casts Arctic Burn right after Odin. Since he didn't have vision of Rubik, better safe than sorry, and Rubik almost steals it. He also procs the slow on Slark. Even though he dark pacts it, he is able to slow Rubik. A very underlooked aspect of Winter is how he is a good pusher. The percentage heal and physical damage immunity not only helps tanking the tower, but heals your allies after a fight, allowing you to keep sieging map control instead of having to back every time. Because of that, Spirit Breaker makes sure to take the aggro away, completely nullifying the benefits of the skill.
Attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
The wave clear and low cooldown of Splinter Blast also helps in pushes. Another cool clip, as they take the bottom 2 tower, PPD goes top to defend, and since apparently Naga is by herself, Spirit Breaker charges.
Under attack.
Nothing special about this clip. He starts with the blast, slows Naga, and thankfully, Storm explodes her before she is able to use Song of the Siren. The fight keeps evolving though. The charge goes on Bane and they secure another one. Winter is a Swiss knife hero in my opinion. There's nothing she's really bad at, besides maybe 1 versus 1s after Arctic Burn is used. She is good at pushing, defending towers, has good fighting spells, is useful in Roshan, can farm her items with safety, can go through cliffs, deward safely, and in this clip we see how she can help her team take Roshan without taking too much damage. One big difference we can spot comparing her to other defensive supports is the scaling on her heal, and the fact that physical damage resistance cannot be purged. Anyways, going back to the game. This game was pretty slow because Naga didn't have a good game, and to nullify the intentions of Radiant, they go high ground pretty early. I guess the most defensive aspect about Winter is her positioning. Since most of your skills have big range, you usually stay pretty far back. Since Spirit Breaker dove pretty hard, he just goes in the middle to mech and then backs off. Sometimes using Winter's Curse aggressively can work, but most of the time you're better off using it in someone focusing your allies, since then the enemies will be less preoccupied about their own positioning. In the end, since no good opening appeared, he just holds on to it. As they are pushing the second lane, pay close attention to his positioning, pretty far back. Even though magic nukes go through Cold Embrace, sometimes you're better off throwing it at someone getting focused by magic damage anyways, because sometimes they can survive the burst. Especially when you're talking about bulky heroes like Pudge, that will heal a lot out of it. In this case it was only Slark attacking, but that's just a quick tip. He gets a pretty good angle for Winter's Curse, and pay attention to how he throws the Splinter Blast on Rubik, so that there's no time for the curse to end, hitting everyone. It also prevents Rubik from stealing it. He also uses Arctic Burn in the trees to keep hitting Naga.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And in these mid to late game scenarios, Winter is very strong, because you can heal your carry almost to full HP and keep pushing, while if it was another support, maybe you would be afraid of buybacks into big disables. Storm baits his Aegis while Luna obliterates the barracks. Pudge goes pretty deep, and that's also something Weaver can do pretty well, help allies during dives. Easy game. This game is pretty high on Octane. When Dire goes to secure their rune, Radiant shows up and the shards from Tusk really puts them out of position. Arctic Burn deals damage based on the enemy's HP and it's a buff, so check how he tries to place it on both Tusk and Sand King instead of just attacking one person. Unfortunately, Radiant gets that rune and the first blood. As Sonneikos go back to the lane, check how he clicks on both Tusker and Sand King to check their items and stats. Sand King has no mana and he's also level 1, so since Arctic Burn is about to get ready, they kill him too. Checking enemies' inventories is always important, but in early game skirmishes it's even more crucial. Seeing whether an enemy has mana to use a particular spell or stick charges to trick you can be the difference between getting a kill or not even going for that kill at all. In this clip, see how he's dealing damage to Sand King while being completely safe from drawing aggro or anyone going on him, since he has that bunch of trees to run away if needed. Being a support player in the early game is way more about perfecting your harass techniques and overall game sense than stacking and warding like most people think. Also, check out he's not selfish. He was probably trying to pull his creep waves to that camp to deny experience for the offlaners, but they go aggressive on Morphling. Instead of banging his head against the wall and then complaining that Morph died, he adapts and goes to Morph's help. Better actually, not only he applies the buff on Tusk and Sand King from a safe spot, he also draws aggro from the large camp, pulling the next creep wave, resetting the lane and denying experience, while also telling his teammates about the Radiant Room top. I mentioned briefly in the last replay, but usually you want to get Splinter Blast at level 2. But since he saved his point, in this case getting Cold Embrace not only buys time for Morphling to approach the fight, it heals him from a little bit of that damage. Not only that, it buys time for Arctic Burn, so even though Radiant played this pretty well and tricked Morphling into thinking they were disengaging, he can bypass the shards and annoy Sand King. Little did they know though that Pudge was TPing, and when Tusk commits the snowball they go for Radiant. Morph plays it pretty well. He blocks Tusk forcing a TP, so in the end not only Tusk died, he will also have to walk back to the lane. We can see how higher level players think a little bit faster than we do. In this skirmish they are going after Sand King and it's nighttime, so if they really wanted to keep chasing, a ward in that cliff would be awesome. So as he Arctic burns Sand King, he immediately places the ward, and even after Sand King using Burrow Strike to the high ground, Pudge has vision to hook him. There's some pressure being applied in the bottom lane and he heads there. Check his decision making. Tusk played out of his mind again. When Slardar begins to stun, he separates Terror and Slardar, which would be Slardar's demise, but Sonneiko snipes Terror Blade from the fog, slows Tusk and heals Slardar.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But Jesus Christ, this Tusk is good. Slardar misses the stun, Tusk dodges Splinter Blast with Snowball, but eventually dies, but he takes Sonneiko with him. Very impressive. With Winter's Curse and Omni Slash ready, they smoke in the mid lane. Slardar gets a good stun, and Sonneiko just right clicks with Arctic Burn and uses the illusion to snipe Terrorblade. Winter Wyvern is actually very good against Terrorblade. Not only he is great against killing illusions from far away, he can prevent physical damage in a way that nothing can purge it, and he can also use Terrorblade as a means to kill anyone in the enemy team with Winter's Curse. When Sand King is TPing in, he uses Winter Curse on Puck because Sand King would most likely stun everyone and allow Radiant to disengage. In the end, even though Sand King stuns them, pay attention to how Sonneiko intentionally gets away. It's baffling how people align themselves against heroes like Sand King even though they know for sure what's going to happen when he shows up. Again, he uses the creep wave to damage Sand King, but Pudge also finds Coddle. I'm very surprised in how much time Sonneiko holds on his Mango, since he has the cooldown for Cold Embrace. Not only that, he actually ends up mangoing Pudge, securing the Sand King kill. The plays in this game are awesome. Pudge telegraphs Puck's move because of amplified damage, and when they decide to go on Tusk, since Puck died, he actually gets Pudge and runs away like nothing happened. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. If you want to see more of this replay breakdown, please check the link in the description. And I can't overstate how this video would never be possible without the huge help from the PVGNA guys, so please show them some love. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe to it. I'm making videos like this almost every day, and I'm sure something here will spark your interest. A lot of Spirit Breaker players don't really think about how the location they charge is important. Since it's almost rune time, when he charges from that far away from lane, Slardar doesn't see him, and it takes way more time to Kanka notice the charge. He notices the torrent animation, almost dodges it, with no success, but what happens now is juicy. Underloin with haste wants a piece of Lina, and with a good salve during the attack